I am going to cut this part out. Going to cut this part out. Cut it out. Cut it out. So now we're back on the roof of this place, and we're finally going to enter the Pyrite Cave. Basically a dungeon within a dungeon. And we have many more trainers to battle in this place. As we can see, there's one there. But there's actually quite a bit to explore in this area, so let's get right to it. I like these little bouncing machines with steam coming off of them. This place is kinda confusing, but there are items all over the place, so it's good to check every nook and cranny. 3 ethers. Items that you usually can't buy in shops, so good to hold on to some of those, just in case you need them. Yeah, let's go ahead and battle you. I'm pretty sure that this girl is technically optional, but I'm gonna end up fighting her anyway. Thought her name was Smiles for a second. What's she got? Anarith and Lotad. Yeah, Anarith is water rock, so yeah, they're both water types. Slugma's actually already purified a little bit just from me walking around. Actually, it might have been from the Justy fight, so I might have got a bit of heart gauges up in that battle. That might be why the heart gauges here look a bit different to when you last saw them. But yeah, I cut out my failed attempt of Justy. I'm going to be showing that later on. Yeah, let's just strength that thing. Thorod's finally unlocked strength, so this is going to be stronger than Shadow Rush. And given there are no HMs in this game, Thorod having strength just on its starting moveset is the only way you can have strength. And strength is not a terrible move. Like, there are better normal moves like a max power return, but until you have access to that, strength is not really all that bad as far as HM moves go. If you want to be stuck with an HM move, you could do far worse than strength. I mean, it's no Surf or Waterfall, but, I mean, actually back in this gen, Waterfall's kind of pathetic because it was essentially just a weaker Surf. Except in Double Battles, Waterfall was used a little bit because it was a single targeting move. Yeah, Slugma doesn't gain particularly good defense until it evolves, and even then, that's really its only good stat, and it's let down by its awful HP, so Slugma is not a great... I love how Anarith runs forward on its little claws like that. I don't know, I always found Anarith to be a... I don't normally, I'm normally not that big on cute Pokemon, but I've always found Anarith kind of cute. Mainly because I, actually used it in cute contests back in Generation 3. I think I won the did I win the Master Rank with it? No, I won the Master Rank Q contest, my first... And that was my first Master Rank contest win, like, in general. But that was with a slacking, oddly enough, because of moves like Yawn and, Slack Off. But I did, the Mudsport and Water Gun, which is an appeal combo in contests in Generation 3. That combo on Anarith just won me a lot of the early Q contests. Because Water Gun is a 4-heart appeal move, so getting a combo on that for double points is really, really good. I used to love 3rd Gen contests. I admit that going back and playing them in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I'm finding myself... I am realizing that they're a lot more luck-based than I remember them being. It really depends on what moves the AI ends up using. I get the feeling that, like, full 4-player multiplayer contests could be really fun, because there are a lot of actual strategies you can use there, but in single-player, a lot of... like, how the excitement meter goes depends on what the AI decides to do, and it is very, very luck-based, so I found myself not really liking contests as much. It's one of those things that I liked more when I was younger than I do now. I still like them way more than 4th Gen contests, though, because I hated the dance minigame, and the less said about Pokemon Musical, the better. Anyway, we're fighting a Chaser here. Again, Chaser is a trainer class that I don't really know why... well, wait. Kind of merged 2 words there. Why they're called that. What do they chase exactly? But anyway, there are a lot of weird trainer classes in Colosseum and XD. My personal favorite is Fun Old Man and Fun Old Lady. Okay, I took a crit there, but... why didn't I use Strength there? Strength would do more. Why didn't I use Strength? I'm kind of confused. But anyway, this guy's Ralter's using Thief for some very stupid reason. His Coughing also is using Thief. Now, there are actually a few trainers in Pyrite Cave who, when you rematch them, and yes, you can rematch these trainers, have illegal moves. But most of them don't have illegal moves in their first fights, only in rematches. Thief is a TM move, so yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure in this generation, I say I'm pretty sure about things a lot in this game, but I am pretty sure that in this generation, if you have a Pokemon with a hold item and it gets stolen with Thief by a trainer, you don't lose it permanently. Nice double crit there. Oh, wait a minute, you're in Hyper Mode, aren't you? That's why I'm using Shadow Rush. Guess I'm finally taking the hit. Or are you in Hyper Mode? Also, there's Shroomish again. Pokemon that I keep forgetting whether it's Grass Poison or Pure Grass, but it is definitely Pure Grass. And you're Hyper Mode. Let me just see. Okay, yeah, Faraday in Hyper Mode. Good. I wasn't completely delusional. And I wasn't completely delusional in not using Strength. That makes sense. I'm abusing the critical hit ratio with Hyper Mode. I guess I'm finally learning that you don't have to call something out of Hyper Mode immediately. Although I guess I did it a lot more earlier on because of the heart gauge bonus you get out of it. It helps in unlocking more moves. But now that Faraday has access to its full moveset, I can afford to stay in Hyper Mode for a little bit. You do actually gain heart gauge a little bit just by walking around with the Pokemon in your party. So, when you're this high into your heart gauge, you might not even need to call. And there are actually some Pokemon, some natures that purify the fastest just by flat out walking. They're probably some of the most annoying to grind for though, because either you spin in circles or you put a rubber band on your controller and walk against a wall. Okay, now I'm calling you out of it. And is Slugma still in Hyper Mode? Oh no, please don't hit Slugma, this will probably KO Slugma. Okay, Slugma barely survived, that's better than I expected. Headbutt, don't hit Slugma, please. Well, that was a crit, really? Okay. You could potentially feint a Shadow Rush. Actually, that was a very tiny amount of HP, so... Well, that was close. I should probably give Slugma a little more credit, that was impressive. Yeah, I'm referring to all these Pokemon by their names because you can't nickname Shadow Pokemon until they're purified. Although even then, like, personally, I'm not a person who nicknames Pokemon that often. It's just not something that really comes all that naturally to me. In general, I'm really bad at thinking up good names as well. Anyway, let's just quickly finish off this route, no pun intended. And this trainer is down. Another Shadow Pokemon list trainer. But it's not a complete waste of time. It's still... helped get my purification gauges up a bit, and it actually was giving me experience, although you don't show it, because the Shadow Pokemon are, I mean, you don't see it, but yeah, Shadow Pokemon are gaining experience at this point. Oh, hey, that guy's surprisingly nice for a Cypher Operative, too. But yeah, they are gaining experience, you just can't see it. Doesn't seem like there's much around here. You'd think they'd hide an item behind the stairs, but they aren't doing that. Now, let's see if I switch my Pokemon out a little bit. Another naughty nature! I'm getting a lot of naughty natures. It's kind of bizarre. Maybe that's the protagonist, like, being an ex-criminal team member? I have no idea. But yeah, careful on Forward is not good. If I'm remembering right... No, wait, no, gentle is plus special defense minus defense. Careful is that plus special defense minus speed? Or plus special defense minus special attack? Or plus defense minus special attack is impish. Is careful plus... No, plus defense minus attack is bold. Plus special defense minus attack could be careful. Yeah, for someone who breeds Pokemon, like, as a major hobby of mine, I'm forgetting a lot of the natures, but it's usually just the big core ones, like Adamant, Jolly, Timid. The Trick Room natures, like Quiet and, Brave. Those things that you tend to remember more often. Okay, I think this guy is more significant, though. Meditite and Bagon. I mean, I'd really love a Shadow Bagon, but I'd also love a Shadow Meditite, so let's see if this guy has a Shadow Pokemon. Forest is definitely coming along. Yeah, one of them is a Shadow, and it's Meditite. Okay, I kind of want to get this Shadow Meditite caught as fast as possible, because Shadow Rush being physical benefits from Meditite's absurdly enormous attack power, and I do mean really absurdly enormous. If it uses Shadow Rush, you'll see just how powerful it is. Okay, instead it's being an idiot and using Calm Mind. You do not want to use special moves on Meditite at all. You want to use primarily physical ones. Even though it has a secondary typing that is special, it is pretty bad at using psychic moves. And hey, Yawn is probably going to help here. It's delayed action, but it does always work, and the AI doesn't switch out if they've been yawned, usually. Pretty sure the AI never switches Shadow Pokemon anyway, for the most part. I've never seen them actually switch a Shadow Pokemon out before. But now, let's see. It's funny, this song is still good. It hasn't really got old yet. Okay, let's just get rid of that Bagon, because it can... I don't know if it would add Dragon Rage at this point. It probably would, and that'd be pretty painful. Nummel. A Shadow Nummel wouldn't be that bad either. It would certainly be better than... Oh, no! Oh, no, don't hit Fire Up. Please don't hit Fire Up. Please don't hit Fire Up. Okay, Fire Up probably got knocked out twice over by that. You didn't really see it because I think Fire Up was already heavily weakened anyway. But that probably did double Fire Up's max HP. Meta-type High Jump Kick is incredibly powerful. Also, watch out, High Jump Kick missing works differently in this generation than it does in later ones. And it might work to your advantage here. Do you think Meta-type looks kind of dumb? It almost looks a bit like a baby, but it's still a pretty awesome Pokemon. But yeah, the delayed action sleep from Yawn is now kicking in. But yeah, in this generation, if High Jump Kick misses, you take a percentage of the damage that it would have done. So, if you miss a normal type with High Jump Kick, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. If you miss a Blissey with High Jump Kick, you will probably get one-shotted. In later generations, High Jump Kick just flat out took away half your health, if it missed, regardless of what you were targeting. 1, 2, 3... Metatite gets, and oh boy am I glad I've got it. Metatite is a Pokemon that is very easy to underestimate. It's a fighting and psychic type, but psychic being special is not really going to do it many favors. And at first glance, its stats look terrible. Those are its evolve form stats, by the way. But don't let that fool you. Metatite and its evolve form Metacham are absolute monsters that are to be feared, and the reason is that ability, pure power. A lot of people don't understand how this ability works. Some people think that it doubles your base attack stat and are like, oh okay, so you've got 120 base attack on Metacham. That's decent, but there are many Pokemon that hit harder, what's so special? But no, that's not how it works. It doubles your actual raw attack stats. Let me put this into perspective. A level 100 Metacham has a maximum possible attack of 240. Doubled, that's 480. Now, Groudon has a maximum possible attack stat at level 100 of 438. Metacham hits harder than Groudon. It hits harder than Slacking, and it doesn't have to waste every other turn loafing around. In fact, as of Generation 3, the one Pokemon that hits harder than Metacham, Deoxys attack form. So if you actually do the maths, and I have, Metacham's attack stat is roughly equivalent to a base of 160 to 180. Depending on whether you have a beneficial nature and depending on how much effort points you have. But Metacham's bare minimum is around the equivalent of base 160 attack. And combine that with the fact that it learns High Jump Kick, which even though it's only 90 power in this gen and not 130 like it was in later ones, it is still one of the strongest fighting type moves in this game. Simply put, anything that doesn't resist it is not going to want to get kicked in the face by Metacham ever, because its face will probably explode. This is why that to better represent Metacham's actual attack power on the chart, I entered a number so high that I intentionally glitched out the chart. Okay, now that you all know what a total monster Metacham is, let's talk what moves it gets. Unfortunately, there's not that much notable in the moves that it gains via its heart gauge other than High Jump Kick. Calm Mind would have been fantastic on a special attacker, but Metacham is not a special attacker. Seriously, don't use special moves on Metacham, it's a waste of its talents. As level up moves go, it learns a couple of interesting options. Psych Up can copy opponents who use stat boosters, and Recover, I guess, is an option for keeping you around, although Metacham isn't exactly the most defensive Pokemon out there. For TM moves, I would highly recommend Shadow Ball. Metacham makes fantastic use of physical Shadow Ball to utterly demolish Psychic and Ghost types. It doesn't have many other physical options apart from Return, though. But Ghost Fighting has such fantastic coverage, you don't really need much more than that. If you want a couple of other options, you can use Reflect and Light Screen, but they're better relegated to other Pokemon. Medicham is not a supporter. Medicham is an absolute physical nuke of doom. Learn to fear it. Your opponents definitely will be if you use one. Oh, and it comes holding a Twisted Spoon. Definitely give this to Espeon as soon as you can. Meditite and Medicham do not make very good use of the 10% boost to Psychic moves. Espeon, however, does. I was about to say this guy is using a fair amount of recoil moves, but I don't really consider high jumping a recoil move, although it does get boosted by Reckless. I guess it's kind of like an optional recoil move. I mean, not like missing with it is exactly your conscious choice or anything, but it's a move that can have recoil, basically, but doesn't most of the time. It also only has 90 power in this gen, but it's still incredibly strong. It's still one of the strongest fighting moves in this game. It's only beaten by Cross Chop and Focus Punch, I think, because Close Combat didn't exist back then. Numel actually has a pretty funny fainting animation too. It's like, oh, oh, I think I'm badly hurt. Kind of like Slowpoke. But anyway, yeah, you're more than shut down. Now this Meditite is going to help us shut down other people. No, hey, it's another person who won knockout challenges. And again, a lot of people have commented that, that a lot of these trainers are surprisingly just taking it very well that their Pokemon have been stolen. But most of them were just randomly given them as prizes from a tournament recently, so, I mean, they probably haven't had much time to bond with the Pokemon anyway, and, I mean, I know it's one of the weird aspects of this game that trainers just don't really question it, but the vast majority of people that you're stealing Pokemon from are outright working with the villains, so I guess they would have been abusing that Pokemon anyway. It's a kind of morally ambiguous thing. Now, I'm probably going back to either heal or get Meditite. I really hope it's to get Meditite, because Meditite is an amazing Pokemon in this game. Let's see. Wait a minute, have I been here before or not? Yeah, no, I haven't battled you yet, so I was thinking that I was going back and gonna cut this out, but actually this is another part of the cave. Yeah, this area is pretty confusing. I forget if there are any walkthroughs online that have a map of this place. I'd highly recommend finding a map of this place, because the layout is, yeah, pretty convoluted, and it can be easy to lose track of where you're going and where you've already been. So, yeah, I thought that this was me backtracking, but it's actually me finding a new area. But anyway, Geodude and a Lotad. Now, most trainers who have Shadow Pokemon, well, most non-bosses who have Shadow Pokemon, usually send them out immediately, so I'm going to hazard a guess and say she doesn't have any Shadow Pokemon at all. But there are a lot of Lotads in this dungeon. This is going to be a running theme. So, okay, Absorb. It's only 20 power, it's not going to be doing much even if it's super effective. And that is double not very effective. Still healed enough to pull you out from red to yellow, though. So you're going from the original Gen 1 Pokemon games to the one where you have a terrible starter, and yeah. I was about to say the one where Brock is a nightmare, but you can catch a Mankey or a Nidoran, and then Brock is a joke in that game. Block. Well, I mean, it's a bit more of a threat against me than against the AI, because I probably would be switching. Also, I'm surprised that Geodude hasn't rock-throwed Yanma yet, and I'm surprised that past me didn't notice how bad this matchup is for me, because that Geodude is a threat to both my Pokemon in play. But it hasn't really acted on it yet. Another Snorunt, which is kind of interesting. Bite. Snorunt actually is not terrible at using Bite, because it's special, and I forget exactly how much special attack Snorunt has. I know that Glalie is infamous for having all of its base stats as 80. Which in this gen wasn't really terrible, but, I mean, this was back when Celebi was legal in Smog and OU, which was something that I personally never agreed with. But mostly just, I felt that at the time, this was part of me being Australian and thus having no access to most event Pokemon, but at the time I felt that it was unfair to allow event Pokemon in any kind of competition because it gave an unfair advantage to people who lived in specific regions. again, it's more of me being Australian, and we actually did get a few Gen 1 and Gen 2 events, but starting with Gen 3, Nintendo decided to forget we existed. And we just never got any Gen 3 Pokemon events. We had, like, one major tournament for Gen 3, which was an Ubers one, so I competed in it once and without Ubers, and I got totally destroyed. I got through one round, though, and I think I ended up losing to the guy who went on to win, so that's pretty impressive. But back then, I didn't even use an EV trained team. I just used a bunch of Pokemon that I trained up to level 100, because resetting things down to level 50, am I still blocked? I'm probably still blocked. Yes, I am still blocked. So, that was not a good move. I should probably just flat out heal Yanma. Or I could Kamikaze Shadow Rush something. Yeah, I'm being kind of dumb here. I probably do need to go back and heal after this. Anyway, going on weird tangents about Australian events and tournaments, but I don't know, it just never sat right with me that Celebi was legal in Smog and OU back in Gen 3. I mean, in later gens, when the event became more widespread and power creep meant that Celebi was not that good anymore, I'm okay with it. But back in Gen 3, I felt like Celebi was a little bit too good for... Anyway. Now, Slugma can't escape. Rare footage of Block actually doing something. Okay, Rock Throw. That's not exactly the best move, but I could try it. But yeah, normally Block is a really useless move, but here it's actually... even with Compound Eyes, I still miss. That's actually a nice combo. Yawning me and then blocking me from switching. Does that Geodude have any attacking moves, though? It hasn't attacked at all, I don't think. Maybe this trainer's strategy is actually using block and comboing with moves that make it... that you want to switch out of, like Yawn. I probably should have healed Yanma at this point. I don't know why I'm not healing Yanma. What am I doing? Okay, yeah, so I'm sure at this point, I vaguely remember some things that I was thinking about at the time I recorded these several years ago, and I'm sure at this point, I was thinking in my head, wow, when I do the post-commentary on this, I am going to be bashing myself so badly for being a complete moron. But I mean, Block is such a rare move that, I mean, you can be forgiven for not remembering that you've been blocked. It's still kind of weird. I was really dumb here. Like, oh, I should just switch out. It's not like I've been blocked from switching or anything. Yeah, I was pretty dumb at this point. I don't know what was going through my head in this battle. But that's always the fun of doing post-commentary, making fun of your past self. Oh, hey, you're actually attacking something. Do you even have Rock Throw? I'm starting to question whether you have it or not. Because if you had it, you probably would have used it by now. That is, unless you're as derpy as I am. Slugma's heart gauge is coming along quite well, which is good because it means I can ditch it quickly. Yeah. I mean, Flamethrower is nice, but Slugma's not really the best user of it. Yeah, I kind of decided the Geodude was the bigger threat here. Slakoth using Scratch is still pretty funny because it waves at you. Okay, let's just get rid of the Slakoth. That was a weird battle, and past me was a pretty dumb moron for doing that, but goodbye Slakoth. Or Slackoff, or however you want to say it. But anyway. Chaser Rehan. I was hoping she'd make some kind of pun on being blocked. Oh, wait a minute, didn't she mention road blocking when, like, in her pre-battle quote? That's actually kind of clever. Okay, there is an item chest in here, but there's a bandana guy guarding it. And how badly injured am I? I could probably just blitz this battle with Espeon and Umbreon. Ironically, Umbreon is higher level at this point. Although I think he did start out one level higher, so that kind of makes sense, but you'd think that I'd be using Espeon a bit more. Okay, yeah, I've got a lot of Pokeballs. I've got a few Super Potions. Yeah, I should probably go ahead and just heal a little bit. Don't know why I felt the need to not heal Espeon here, but I'm going to go ahead and get that. Why aren't you battling me? Oh, you're a trap trainer. You're like, okay, we're going to lure the player into a false sense of security by thinking this person doesn't get the exclamation mark and walk up to you. But, actually, he battles you only if you talk to him. So, yeah, you could skip this guy, but yeah, this is a dead end. But I am going to explore every nook and cranny of this place. I want to get all the items. So this guy has 2 Lotads. We're seeing a theme here, obviously. And it would be nice for Slugma to regain Flamethrower at some point, because that would really help here. I know these Lotads aren't weak to it, but it is still doing a pretty good amount of damage. Of course, Lotad has a really, really bad level up learn set, featuring moves like Astonish, which even when getting a critical hit only does that. That is something that I've been watching. Don't want to name names specifically because I don't want to make this video seem too dated, but I've been watching a stream of someone playing a wedlock of Pokemon Sapphire at the moment, and they remarked on just how bad the level up move pool of a lot of Hoenn Pokemon is early on. Like, Lombre just does not get any good moves at all for ages. And that is kind of true, and it's part of why Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is so much easier. Well, also because I was about to say the AI, but I'm pretty sure that the Aurus AI is just as dumb as the original Ruby and Sapphire AI. But anyway, it's the major power creep from Generation 3 to 6. Just Pokemon's level up move pools just got so much better over the years. And they just learned much, much better moves, and the original just Hoenn Gym Leader teams were just not designed to handle that at all. The one thing that I will just say, this is completely irrelevant here, I'm sort of going on tangent at this point, but a lot of people seem to think that Tate and Liza had Xatu and Claydol in the original Ruby and Sapphire, and that the remakes removed it, but they didn't. They only had Claydol and Xatu and Emeralds. There were always that case of, they were pathetic in the original Ruby and Sapphire, and the remakes kept that, but then in Emerald, they were some of the hardest gym leaders in the game. I still wish we get another double battle gym leader. It's kind of a wasted opportunity. It's sort of bizarre that we've only had 1 double battle gym leader in the entire series. But I mean, this game is entirely double battles, so I guess that goes somewhere to making up for it. But yeah, if you couldn't tell, this guy is entirely Lotads. Thankfully, we have regained Flamethrower now, so let's see how much this does. Actually, slightly more than Espeon using Confusion, which is kind of impressive, but that's probably thanks to the sheer power that Flamethrower has. Confusion is only 50 power. Once Espeon gets some better moves, its true potential will be unleashed, and then everything will be obliterated. Because, yeah, Espeon is amazing in this game. Oh, yay, because I'm totally going to use stat-lowering moves against you. Yay! But now that I've beaten this guy, I can finally claim the item. Well, actually, haven't beaten him just yet. I thought that Lotad was slightly weakened. But I've pretty much beaten him at this point, because Espeon is going to go first. Yep, there we go, I've beaten him now. So I can get the item chest that he was guarding. And after this, I probably do go back to heal, judging how much time I have left in this video that I'm currently post-commentating on. Yeah, Pyrite Cave is probably going to end up being 2 parts. This place is kind of long, and I thought I just said swagged for a second, but no, savaged. And there are a lot of confusing dead ends in here, and a lot of trainers. So once again, everyone is like, you may have beaten me, but my boss will beat you. Okay, yeah, this is what I was thinking of. 3 Ultra Balls. We want to hold on to these for now. They're going to come in handy later in the cave. So for now, let's head back out around here. Now, if I'm remembering right, there were 2 options for staircases to go down to the next floor. So we're going to have to explore a few of them. Heading down again, I guess. Or is this back at the start of the cave? I forget. Okay, we are back earlier in the cave. Right, so yeah, like I said, this place is really confusing. I am going back to heal, so I'll just end now. Huh, okay, at this point, I think I'm making, like, I'm reserving a box for Pokemon that have full heart gauges. That's actually kind of clever of me. Oh, and you can press the, I think it's the Y button to have, like, this quick pick up and drop option where you don't have to go through the hassle of the menu. So yeah, I'm organizing my Pokemon in terms of the ones that I have full heart gauges on, because that'll come in handy later, knowing which ones are ready and which ones aren't. Let's see who I end up taking. I hope I take Noctowl. Yeah, probably not going to bring Remoraid. And I'd rather bring Mantine than Quillfish. I just think Mantine's quite a bit of a better Pokemon. Now, Meditite, I definitely want to take. Because Meditite is amazingly strong. But I probably want to get rid of that Twisted Spoon and give it to Espeon. Espeon makes far better use of that. Foreign, I think, is fully done, so I can put you in the done box. And, yeah, please tell me I take Mantine, because Mantine's actually a pretty good option. I think Slugma is almost fully done, too. So, might as well put Slugma in the done box. Just checking that everyone here does actually have full heart gauges. Okay, you're not quite full. Oh, wow! Forward is actually not there. It said the door to its heart is almost fully open, not undo the final lock. So, Forward is just barely not full. That's pretty annoying.